Okay. So, welcome to our Inspiring Women podcast. In this series, we are talking to a few of the inspiring ladies in and around us. And one such lady that we are talking to today is Anvita Sahai. I know her personally for around 12 years now. She had been my go-to person for anything, any advice, personal, professional, and I am, at times, Anvita, I'm really awestruck, like seeing you, how you manage your work, your kids, everything, as well as you know, the kind of a leader that you are. I just kind of get inspired from you personally a lot. And that's where I thought, why not? If I get so inspired, there might be so many women who can learn from you and who are on the path of, maybe adjusting into their life or just starting the career, and that's where they can gain insight from you, learn from you, and make it better. And I also have Mimansa with me, who hearing so many stories about you from me was so excited to talk to you. And of course, like I said, like women who can learn from you and inspire from you. So Mimansa was like, I just want to talk to Anvita as well, so that's why I also have Mimansa with me. So welcome to our podcast show, Anvita. And I may not have justice introducing you, so why don't you just let us know about yourself, and then just share some stuff for us.
First of all, thank you for including me in your series of podcasts. I hope to learn a lot from all the fun podcasts you've planned because as individuals, as human beings, you never stop the journey of learning. So I'm excited to share what my journey had been, but I'm certainly looking forward to all the other podcast series that you're going to be hosting and then publishing for us. So thank you again. So I'm a working mom. I always say that, as part of my introduction, keeping it very real. I mean, that's really, how I kind of think of myself, from a career standpoint. From the very childhood, I'd always aspired to become, an accountant. And so, I did my chartered accountancy in India. Then, we moved here to the US. So, a CPA was required. So, of course, doing that became the natural step. And then joining a public accounting firm because I loved the concept of being able to look at different companies, work with different um, people, and what public accounting also brings is you're constantly learning something new, which was kind of my key driver throughout all of my career. That the moment you think you're not learning anything, it's time to do something different. But this job somehow has kept that going for me because every day I continue to learn something new. So I'm a partner here. I'm with the audit practice at Ernst and Young. And again, that's it's been a great journey. I've been with the firm now almost 19 years. But like I said, I'm happy to share my story there, um, and also learn from this conversation.
Well, yeah, I mean, 19 years, long time, right? And I've had multiple conversations with you, Anvita. I mean, of course, we're part of the extended family. I mean, rather, I would say otherwise. I am the part of your extended family, I would say. And every time, there are things that I learn from you, and I'm like, oh wow, this is how you handle things, or wow, just one example being when you became partner, of course, and your husband is super busy himself, right? I mean, he's into the accounting side of the world as well, and I've seen that. And now your daughter is getting into 10th grade, so busy time for you as well, for from looking at the career aspects of the kids as well, right? So how do you kind of manage work, which is super busy? Being a partner is not an easy job, and you also handle a pretty big client, so that's also just kind of thing. I know you do a lot of travel for work, and then I know your husband is a big foodie, so he likes to have home cooked food, and you always like, I've seen you doing all that cooking as well, for the kids and your husband. How आप करते क्या हो? मतलब आप 24 आवर्स में से 36 आवर्स का काम कैसे करते हो?
It's really not that crazy actually.
Secret formula, I would say. Please share.
Yeah, no, it's all about prioritization. I think if I just think about how we have managed this far, um, I would say a big contribution to where I am career-wise today goes to Vikram, my husband, because I don't think without his understanding and his support, this would have been possible. Um, there was um, there was a book I had read which had this sentence saying that the most important career decision women make in their life is deciding who they marry, and I think it is really important because of how critical the role of your partner is in letting you go and do things that you want to do in your career. Um, I myself am very aware of and had been very aware of the the importance of prioritization in life. So when we started the family, the kids were younger. Um, we discussed and we talked about it that that's not the year that I want to raise my hand for every opportunity or go after like a crazy work schedule or do things which would keep me away from children. And so that discussion or that thought process really helps because when you do things which are your own decision, you're more at peace with them versus when they're imposed at you. So even though, those were the years where a lot of my peers were, going after doing, the coolest of the projects, which was credentializing them way more than what I was doing. But I never compared myself to them because it was my decision to not do that. And I think what brought me, peace every day was come back home, spend the time with the kids, because that's what I wanted at that stage. Now, you do that, for a couple of years, and then you find your rhythm, and then you again talk about, okay, now I'm ready to do more. But again, that's where your partner plays an important role because at that time, then we had that conversation, and Vikram said, "Yeah, go for it. I'm gonna cover the home front for you. But okay, if there's something really you really want to do." So I think that's how we made it work somehow. And I think same goes for him. Like when he needed to do something which required more time commitment, then I took a step back. So you have to constantly balance. But at the end of the day, see each other's career goals and support each other through that journey. So it just works. You mentioned about cooking. It's funny. I actually think cooking is a stress buster for me. The kind of job, at least from my perspective, um, it's busy, but it's more stressful. And so I find cooking as a great way to like de-stress myself. So again, it's really more out of that versus trying to find the time. I think I find the time because it helps me too. So yeah. No, it's been a journey. So that's how I kind of think about it.
Yeah, and so greatly said. And I think one key takeaways I am now hearing is that don't compete with each other. Just understand, just understand each other and also like know the skills, kind of the positives on the other side and take it that ways. Because I feel today's generation we was also trying to compare and compete with each other and beat husband wife. They try to compete with each other, which leads to a lot of I would say stress in the family and or this that either one of person has to just take a career break or something or have to just adjust to this change, right? So I think this is a big one that you are saying that just not being a competitor but being supporter to each other is very important. I think that's a key takeaway here. Now I know, remember Anvita, right? I was like nominated for my leadership, that program in my organization. And the first person, when I had to do the presentation, the first person that came in my mind was you. Like, who I should go to, who I should just kind of run by my whole, my presentation, take advices and all. Because I have seen you as a leader, not just professionally, but personally, in personal life as well. Like, I've seen you, you are not like, you're very calm and composed. I mean, I don't know how you manage that with two kids and everything going around, but I think that's one of the leadership quality that I feel one should always take in, that whatever the situation may be, you need to be calm and composed and understand and assess the situation. So give us the mantra, just give us back like what we should do as a for women like us, who like some leadership traits.
Yeah, see, it's such a subjective topic, Sugandha, because how you define success or a good leader could be very different from, how Mimansa you might see it or how I see it. I think it's very subjective. So I think the first thing is that let's not look for a definition of, what a good leader is or what success means to you, because I think everybody needs to do that individually for themselves, like define what that is. And I think and be at peace with it. I think that's really critical. I've been extremely fortunate to have worked with people in these last more than 25 years that I've been working, who are completely different from each other, who have a different style, who have a different way of decision making, who have a different way of leading a team. But I think what you need to do is observe the people around you and take the good from everyone. And I think that's what has been kind of important for me all these years, is identifying the differences in the people around us and really taking the good from them and saying, okay, if I want to be, again, if I want to rise in my career or be at a point where I'll be responsible for a team, I mean, these are the traits I want to have in myself and have people see that in me. So I think that's really important. But regardless of like how others are, I think, again, this is very personal to me. We have to stay very authentic to what we are, because if you're trying to be somebody else, it shows instantly. And so for people to have trust in you, whether as a leader or as a co-worker or as a subordinate, I think you have to keep your authenticity at the core of every action, whatever you say, how you conduct yourself. Because I think that goes a long way in defining you as a person, and how people perceive you and then set expectations from you. So I think it's really it really boils down to kind of knowing your style, knowing your strengths, what works for you, like making that as a foundational thing. And I think then it's just what I was saying about like, hey, if there are other things that you really like about others, then to have your mind be open to try out kind of those traits a little bit, get out of your comfort zone, stretch those boundaries a little bit. And I think that's, to me, that has really helped me kind of just from a personality standpoint. And then the last thing I would say, Sugandha, is just, again, not defining it as a leader, because like I said, I think it's very subjective, but as a person, you need to know your kind of core values that you stand for, and that needs to show in every action. Like you have to walk the talk, you have to demonstrate to people around you that you're not just talking about these things, but your actions are saying that loud and clear. In my profession, being an auditor, it's really important to have highest of the integrity, to be honest, to have the right filters when you make a decision and convey something to your client. And I think as long as I can demonstrate that through my actions, even if it's a tough message, it gets across easily because people know your heart is in the right place when you're
Yeah.
and you've used your own values. So again, I don't think there is a mantra. It's stay authentic, find the people who you get inspired by and trying to imbibe some of their qualities. And then define kind of your own core values that you practice day to day, in your actions.
No, so rightly said. And I think you rightly said in the last point, right? I mean, just find the person. I found you. I'll tell you very frankly, Anvita, 12 years, I have seen a lot of things that I have taken from you, back from you. And I think it has made me a better person personally. And there are things which I was always in self-doubt because, again, probably something that I would want to know from you as well is that, you know, us women, especially, we try to be a lot in self-doubt, self-critic mode all the time, right? And even if we are doing something right, we kind of think twice before is it right? Like as you rightly said, maybe you need to know where your heart is, and if it is in the right place, you are taking an action even if it is tough. And it can be personal life as well. You have to at times take personal life decisions which are very tough, but then, as women, we try to take a back step or say maybe this will, we are more in a pleasing mode. Like, let's please everyone and see that. And I think Mimansa, you will also agree. Of course, we are little, older than you, but I think it's the same across. So how do you kind of manage that? Like